Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for being with us. Well, libraries have been a fixture of a well-educated community for more than a century. But after major cuts to the budget and the loss of programs and staff from the recession, Washoe County's libraries have relied more and more on volunteers and on donations. And now, in the digital age, where do libraries fit in? Arnie Mourans, the director of the Washoe County Library System, is here with us now to talk about that. Arnie, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the Washoe County Library System is actually surprisingly large, 12 branches, right?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
are they all still operating?
They are all operating. We did have 14 at one time. We had one at the Mendive Middle School, and we had the bookmobile, and those were both victims of the budget cuts. We had to sell off the bookmobile, and we had to close the public library at Mendive.
Right. I mean, a lot of victims, obviously, during the recession, but I think the unfortunate thing about the library system, kind of like parks, is that your funding hasn't fully been restored since the recovery. What's that been like, taking those cuts?
It's been really difficult. It's been a challenge, but it's also helped us to kind of rethink how we do business and how we serve the public. We're still down about 38% from where we were back in 2006. We've cut hours by about a third. We're slowly restoring those. We were able to shift some money to a tax override fund that we have that the voters passed about 20 years ago. It was meant for expansion, but we actually used it to kind of stay open. And we've also gotten a lot of donations from the public. The friends of the library have been phenomenal, helping us out. They've given us several $100,000 over the last 5 or 6 years. And between that and volunteer hours, it's helped us to stay afloat.
How many volunteers do you have now compared to paid employees?
I think the latest for last year, we had about 400 volunteers that gave, I want to say, about 12,000 hours. And that's up probably close to 80–90% over what it was when budget times were better.
And that's compared to 120 something, I think I remember.
We have about 130 employees. Okay. I think I want to say about 60% full time.
Wow, so that's a lot of volunteers that you rely on.
Yes.
I mean, that's a huge change in business model, I imagine, from how it was pre-recession. Is that sustainable, relying that much on volunteer hours?
Well, what the volunteers do is they help us with a lot of things that help keep the building open and looking good and shelving books and that kind of thing. We don't rely on volunteers to do the professional work or even the paraprofessional work. They do a lot of those kind of things that the public sees when they walk into a branch. Things are in order, things look nice, things are clean, plants are watered, that kind of thing, and that's really where they've helped us out.
Okay, now we're just starting this new fiscal year for Washoe County. Are you guys getting any additional money in this budget?
This year we did not get any increase in our general fund. We're basically status quo. We did get enough money to cover things like increases in health insurance and those kind of things, but nothing really that we can do anything new with.
Are you hoping that you will at some point?
Yes. We're looking at next year. We're hoping that it's kind of our turn. I think Parks did get some additional funding this year, so we're kind of hoping that the library can be next up to get some of our funding restored. We do have some resources available to us. The tax override fund that I mentioned, we can use some of that money for projects and programs that we were hoping to use general fund for, but we can still do it with the tax override.
What's the first thing on your wish list, say you were to get some additional funding in the next budget cycle?
I would want to probably update our technology. I think people come into the library expecting that we're going to have the latest and greatest devices and software, and that's not the case. I'd love for us to be able to modernize that and offer people Windows 10 and other things that they see out, when they're looking at TV or out, when they're out in the world using their devices, that we'd be able to offer those as well.
Right. I think libraries are kind of up against a unique challenge because with the internet, people have access to information 24 hours a day. On top of competing with digital media, you've also had to cut back hours. Has that really affected the number of people coming in the door?
Yes, it has. We have seen a drop in our visitor counts. We've seen an increase in online visitors. People are using our website more and using the things that we offer through the website more, but we have seen a drop in people coming through the doors. And as I said earlier, we are gradually restoring our hours, so we're hoping to see that those numbers will start going back up.
So are there more people now using your online services than, say, physically checking out books?
It's hard to say. We probably have about 800,000 visitors to the website a year, and we have about 1.2 million people through the doors. Those numbers are getting closer. So there may come a point when we actually do get more online usage.
It's a really interesting time, I think, especially with the advent of e-readers and people kind of being used to having information at their fingertips. They're not used to having to like go somewhere to get the information. How do you keep libraries relevant in the digital age?
Well, part of it, I think, is offering the relevant technology, as I said. Part of it is there's much more self-service. People are more independent. They're self-reliant. They can do a lot of things themselves, but I think there's still a need for that mediation, someone to kind of be in between and help guide people to good information, helping them make sure that whatever it is that they find is legitimate and authentic. And I think librarians can have a role in that. I think also people are looking for places where they can still come and gather, meet others in the community. I think the more people go use the internet and go online, I think that kind of leads to that desire for to have that physical contact, to have that one-on-one or contact with people. And I think libraries can serve a role there too, with meeting rooms, meeting spaces, programs, a place where people can go. We like to call libraries the third place. There's the home, there's work, and then there's the library. It's somewhere you can go to hang out, to meet with other people, or if you just want to be by yourself and read a newspaper or study.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you guys have added some additional programs too to kind of bring different people in the doors, right?
Yes, we're real excited about a couple of initiatives. We're partnering with EDON to offer entrepreneur classes. Those will be hopefully starting in the fall. Our staff is going to supply one trainer, and EDON is going to supply a trainer, and we're going to have those classes in our libraries. Really excited about that, and then also hoping we can tie that in with other types of speakers and programs that would be of interest to people who are entrepreneurs and interested in starting a business. Another partnership with EDON, they've given us a grant along with the Governor's Office on Economic Development for us to be able to offer training to people interested in becoming manufacturing technicians. With Tesla coming and a lot of other manufacturing companies, there's going to be a huge need for manufacturing technician type folks, and we're hoping that we can offer classes for that so people can get certified, so they can go to an employer and say, look, I've got the certificate that I got at the library.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah. Okay, so I know that you guys do obviously take a lot of donations. Are you in need of donations? What do you need from the community?
Well, I think we get a good amount of book donations and DVDs and that type of thing. I think we're really pleased with the amount of donations we get there. If people want to help financially, they can donate to the Friends. The Friends is a 501c3, so the donations there are tax deductible. They can join the Friends, of course. The Friends do book sales every other month at the Sierra View branch, which is at the Reno Town Mall. They're certainly welcome to donate to their local branch if they would rather do that. That's also tax deductible. Or they can donate to the system. We have a system gift account that they can also, where the money could go for whatever, for a system-wide use.
Do you guys ever put out a call for, say, we need these specific books or these specific DVDs or programs, and then kind of like a Christmas angel tree type thing, like don't buy this and donate it to the library?
Well, we have been doing for the last several years. We've been doing a periodical drive where each branch identifies titles that they were not able to get because of lack of money, and then they put that list out for their patrons to come in and look. And then people who want to donate to cover the cost of a subscription, they can choose a title off that list and then write a check to the library and then help kind of bolster our magazine collection. So that's been going on for several years, and it's been really successful.
Oh, very cool. Okay, yeah. Now you mentioned you have 400 and some volunteers, but do you need more volunteers?
Well, we can always use more people interested, because different people have different amounts of time that they can commit. Some people only do an hour a week, some people do 10 hours a week. So we're always interested in getting more people who want to help out. They can go to the Washoe County website. There's a volunteer form there, and then if they indicate on that form that they want to volunteer for the library, then they'll get referred to us, and then we'll work with them on placing them in a branch that meets their needs.
Okay, sounds good. Now, we've got a minute left. Is there anything that you want the public to know? Any message you have for them? You've been with the library system a long time.
Well, I think we're poised to kind of reinvent ourselves. We've been doing that in the last couple of years. We're hoping to expand hours this fall. We're going to take a proposal to our library board to expand some hours at some branches, adding a 6th day at 3 branches, adding a day at the senior center. We're hoping to do that. Like I say, I think we're just ready to kind of go in a new direction. And I don't like to use the cliche about working smarter, not harder, but I think that's kind of what we've been doing the last several years. And we're going to continue on that path and finding ways that we can meet the needs of the public with the resources that we have.
Yeah, and keeping the libraries alive.
Yeah.
Doors open.
Yeah.
All right, Arnie, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, that is it for this episode of Face the State. But for more information on all of this or to see past episodes, just head to our website, ktvn.com. Thank you so much for being with us. We will see you next week.